What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tuck Rule Takes episode 202. 202, episode 202 of Tuck Rule Takes. Sponsored by, fueled by Coach Guy Sports and Sports Spider. We're getting it out of the way in the beginning. Coach Guy Sports, go check them out. You get everything you want on there sports wise. We also have another co-host on here, Liam, who has a Celtics podcast on there. Celtics are about to start up in a couple of weeks, so please go check that out as well. Sports Spider, that is Spider with a Y. If you've been listening, you already know that. You know you can listen to it on the trail, in the zoo, wherever you are. Go check them out. Hit the NFL tab. Go to Patriots. You know what I'm going to say. If you don't see us there, scroll down for a second. You'll see us right there. Listen, watch, whatever. I say you should watch because it's a little bit more entertaining. But gang is all here today for episode 202. 202 episodes, guys. Good job. Al is here. Liam's here. I'm Mike. I'm here. We are here to talk about yet another Patriots win. Another win, guys. The last time the Patriots have won back-to-back games. Like, I feel like it's been forever. Actually, back-to-back games. That's 3. Panthers, Bills, and the lowly, poorest Saints. Big win. Patriots won 25-19. We will talk about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans game coming up. Big revenge game for Mike Vrabel. Then we're going to end on some Bill Belichick talk because we can't be a Patriots podcast without talking about Bill Belichick. But my fellow host, I want to throw it to you guys. How do you feel about this win? 25-19. The Patriots take care of business against the Saints. I think, Al, you were one of the proponents who said you think it might be a trap game. I can understand that, but seeing it, do you think that it still could have been a trap game watching it? Do you think the Patriots came out ready to play? I want to start with you because I know you were the one who was mentioning trap game. How'd you feel about the 25-19 win?
Solid win, but oh yeah, this was a trap game, and there's no doubt about it. The first half, it looked like they were going to run away with it. It looked like, okay, the offense is clicking, everything's great, like good. I was also sweating out Patriots first half money line, so that was, nice. Thank you, Keyshawn Booty. Appreciate you. Never said a bad thing about you on this podcast, never ever. But the second half, the offense stalls out, but the defense steps up. That's the big thing. But every time the Patriots got the ball back, and we were even saying this in the group chat, all right, just get a field goal, make it 2 possessions, put the game out of reach. But then they're stalling out. They're going 3 and out. They're getting a first down, and then they stall it on the next series. So that's where it's like, oh, shit. Like, if the Saints get lucky and they get a big play downfield like they did the first play of the game to Olave, then they're in trouble. Then they could lose this game. But you know what? Credit to, like, Christian Ellis for the fumble in the fourth quarter with about 8 minutes left. Credit to Drake May for making great throws to Keyshawn Booty. And credit to Pop Douglas. I mean, he had himself a game today. He had 1 touchdown, should have had 2. But we'll talk about that later on. But overall, you're 4-2. You've won 3 in a row. I think that's the first 3-game winning streak since probably 2021. Be my guess, right?
Yeah. I think they said either 2021 or 2022. I forget what it was. But either way, years.
Yeah,
it's been the first 3-game win streak in years. Yeah.
Right. It's been at least 2 years plus, maybe even 3 years plus, since the Patriots have had a 3-game winning streak. And again, with the stretch of games you have coming up, that number can get larger. But you got it 1 week at a time, 1 week at a time. Good win. Good road win in the NFL.
Yeah, good win. Obviously, we'll talk about some negatives here and there. There are a couple, but I think this is kind of to start it. I feel like you have to start with the positives because, like you said, Al, first 3-game win streak in years. So, great win. Liam, how'd you feel about the game? Did you think at any point that the game was slipping at all? I know I was a big proponent. I was saying I wasn't worried at all, which realistically I wasn't. But how'd you feel about it?
I think you and me were on the same page for this game, where a 3-point lead felt like 30. Like I hold the Saints in higher regard than most people seem to. I think they're a fun team to watch. I actually think Spencer Rattler's got some talent. They have some playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is just abysmal. So once we scored any points, I was like, okay, we're gonna continue to score, and they'll continue to score. They will score points, but they're not going to stop us from scoring. And then, of course, sure enough, like you said, the offense eventually faltered. But even then, I was like, We're just one more big Pop Douglas play away, one more Stephon Diggs play away from just sinking back into our couches and feeling completely relaxed. And we did get that Stephon Diggs play, and then it got called back. But, yeah, which was super annoying. But overall, like, I felt very comfortable through this whole game. It was fun. It was low impact. Like, I'm like, okay, I know we're going to win. Just surprise me on how we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like even I'm sitting there watching the game with Nicole, and like when the Saints went up, they kicked the field goal to go up 16-14, if I remember correctly. I was just like, I'm still like not worried at all. Because at that point, like it was right before the half. So either the Patriots score before the half or they get the ball back and they score again. Yeah, this was just one of those games where I don't know, like game flow, it felt like the Patriots had control. And Al, I know you texted in throughout the group chat who it was like, or where you were like, it seems like the Saints have kind of like run the game time of possession wise, but it didn't seem like they had control of the game, if that made sense. Where it's like it seemed like
Yeah.
they were grinding to get down there and to score and kick field goals. But like the Patriots, I think it was like 3 plays, their first drive, fucking deep touchdown, 50-yard pass to Pop Douglas. That was incredible. I mean, I guess we'll just kind of talk about that. First of all, Pop Douglas, great game, 3 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown, should have had 2 touchdowns. I think so. Like he had a great game, great game. I was thinking, and it's kind of crazy with this offense where like one week, like last week, it was all Stephon Diggs. Week before, you get a lot of Hunter Henry and still some Stephon Diggs. Week 1, it was all Kayshon Boutte, 100-yard game or 103-yard game or whatever he ended up having. And now this game, you have Kayshon Boutte, obviously went for almost 100, but then you have Pop Douglas breaking out. And it's like, you can talk about this offense and think, they need a number one guy or they need whatever, like they need to focus on something. But I think this game showed that like this offense can score in different ways. And I kind of want to ask you guys, how'd you feel about the offense overall? We'll talk about Drake May, obviously, another great game. I mean, he's killing it. 18 of 26, 261, 3 touchdowns. Dude is just reliable. Like you don't even have to worry about him. But just overall, offensively, where do you guys want to jump off? I feel like that's where we should start. Do you want to talk about Drake May? Do you want to talk about Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte? We'll obviously get into the officiating, but where do you guys want to jump off with the offense?
I think it has to start with kind of like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of this game because the first half, I mean, the Patriots look great. They're moving down the field. They're hitting big plays. They're making all the plays that they need to. And again, you mentioned it, Mike. You're getting contributions from Pop Douglas. You're getting contributions from Kayshon Boutte. But then the second half comes, and this is where I'll give the Saints some credit. They made adjustments, especially on that front defensive line. They were getting more pressure on Drake May. I still think there was only like 1 sack on the day, which is still really good for this Patriots offensive line. But
Yep,
I
one
think,
sack. Yep.
yeah, I think that just goes to show you, though, that even though the Patriots are 4-2, they're not a finished product. They still have a ton that they can improve on. And one of the things they can improve on is playing a complete offensive game from beginning to end, like they did in the Carolina game. And I think also, and we're just going to say this real quick, I think you need more out of your running game. And I think that put the Patriots in bad positions in the second half. Stevenson gave you nothing today. Henderson gave you very, very little, but still a little bit. So, I mean, who's to say that they don't pick up the phone before they leave New Orleans and it's like, hey, man, you guys are 1-5. You have Alvin Kamara that you will want to get off your books. Let's make something happen here. So, I mean, when you put that all into perspective, I'm glad they won. But when they play like Tampa Bay or one of those teams again, or like the Ravens, if they get their shit together by the time they play them, they're not going to get away with playing one half of offense. They're just not.
Which Lamar's officially back next, not this week because it's a bye week for him, but
After the bye
the
week, yeah.
after.
Yeah, so there you go. So Lamar will be back. So hopefully some things will be right for the Ravens then. So
Yeah, but dude, they're going to be 1-5. Like they're going to have to basically win out for them to make it. With the Steelers kind of playing well, but either way, like we'll deal with the Ravens when we get to them. Yeah, I agree. The run game, we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, I think the offense as a whole, like you said, it's like if the run game could have helped today, this game would have been easy, no white knuckling at all. But yeah, it did get a little hairy there. The Patriots, I think for their first 5 or 6 drives. They scored on every drive except for the one where they turned the ball over when they went for it on 4th down. So I'm still not worried about the offense. Just kind of overall thoughts about it. Like I'm happy with the play calling. You could question nitpick plays here and there, but like you can do that all the time. Like overall, like the you're seeing this offense evolve. You're seeing the deep plays be there, whether they're called back for penalties or not. You're seeing deep plays get there. You're seeing open receivers, which, guys, you watched every Patriots game last season. How many open wide receivers did you see?
Not many.
Not many. Not this year. You're having Stephon Diggs wide open. Kayshawn Boutte is open. You got Pop Douglas burning safeties. Like I think you're seeing the McDonald's, the McDaniels offense here. So I'm happy with it overall. I'm very happy with Drake May's play. But Liam, how'd you feel about the offense? And who would you say is like the star of the offense this week? Because I feel like every week you can pick a different person, but just overall though, how'd you feel about it?
I felt pretty good. We have, if I could sum it up, a middle of the road offense, and that's nice. That's refreshing. Like we're gonna put points on
potential
the board.
to be a little bit higher, but like overall,
yeah,
right?
but we're
like
middle of the road, which is good
Mm-hmm.
because a middle of the road offense would be the number one offense in the year 2000. We are a perfect middle of the road offense, and that's fine. And in this game, McDaniels just kind of uncorked the long ball of the offense, where he's like, "Hey, we're playing the Saints. Their corners are terrible. Their defense is terrible. I'm not going to call a screen pass on 3rd and 11. I'm going to call a pass play. And
There were
Drake
like
May
2
is going to,
screens. That's it.
yeah. And Drake May dodged 2 tackles, steps up in the pocket, and throws a rocket over the middle to Matt Collins on 3rd and 11. And then we take the deep shots to Matt Collins, the deep shots to Stephon Diggs, the deep shot that actually worked with Pop Douglas, and then the one to Kayshawn Boutte right before the half. He's like, this game, we're throwing it deep. So I would say the star of this game is Josh McDaniels. Like I thought the play calling was pretty good. I'm not going to put it on a player because Drake May was good. If we're picking a player, I'd probably pick him by default. But he did let a snap go over his shoulder, and he did sail a pass that I thought would have been a beautiful 60-yard touchdown for Kyle Williams. He sailed another one for him on the sideline as well. They were trying to get Kyle Williams involved. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying. So Drake May sailed some passes. Every fucking quarterback does it. I'm not going to be super critical of him. But against the Saints, after Mac Jones carved up this team, it would have been nice to complete some of these passes, just to make Patriots fans feel better about themselves in that sense. But yeah, I think Josh McDaniels, there's some really, really, really cool play calls where Drake May snaps the ball, fakes the bubble screen, turns around, fakes the handoff to Ramondre, setting up a draw, and then ends up, I think that was 3rd and long as well. He ends up scrambling for a 1st down. But I was like, that's a cool play call. That's a layered. That is a deep play call. Really, really cool.
I love those plays. I love that type of play.
100%.
Yep.
It just looks so smooth. There's something really cool about just the motion of pump fake out to the flat, fake the handoff, and then immediately look downfield. I just think it's so badass looking. But if I had to put on a player, actually, it would probably be Kayshawn Boutte. And I think it's really cool that Josh McDaniels was like, hey, we're back in your hometown. You're going to get the ball. You're going to get the ball a lot. This is going to be fun. And Drake May put it on the money for him. He made every play possible. He was perfect.
That touchdown where Drake May is kind of steps up in the pocket, steps away from pressure in just a perfect kind of touch throw, middle of the end zone, contested catch. Boutte goes up and catches it. That's the in after the game, I'm paraphrasing, but Boutte said basically, I think I'm pretty good at contested catches, which he is.
I think that's my thing.
He had basically the game sealer at the end of the game on the sideline on 3rd and 12 or something like that. Caught it, stayed inbounds too, which was crazy.
Nasty work.
Yeah, I have to say, you could give, I guess, the game ball to anybody. And we're just kind of talking, we're shooting the shit here. The team won, so it is what it is. I'm going to take the chalk pick. I'll go Drake May because I think this game and also last game against the Bills too. And really throughout the season, Drake May just looks comfortable. He looks
Yep.
confident. Like that play where he's kind of like stepping up in the pocket. Chase Young is right on his back and he just tosses it out to Trevion Henderson. And
That
Henderson
was
picks up like nine
awesome with the
yards.
little flick.
Dude, yes, that's one of those plays where you're like, I know there's someone right here, but I'm confident enough in what's going on where I'm just going to toss it to Henderson. Henderson's going to get like eight
That
or
was
9 yards.
cool. Yeah, because if
Incredible.
you do that play, you have to be sure that
You
shit's
have
gonna
to
work.
know. And yeah, like Al, just to fill you in, we're basically talking about how like the offense, like Kayshon Boutte, tremendous game, contested catches, awesome. Liam basically said that Josh McDaniels would be the offensive guy he'd give the ball to, basically. I'm throwing Drake May out there just because like he looked so confident, so comfortable, just in the offense, going through his reads, moving up in the pocket, and not like, last week Chris Collinsworth was like, this is what Drake May does. He keeps his eyes down and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. He did it like one play. He
Yeah,
kept his eyes up. He's either hitting people or he's running with the ball.
yeah.
No bad. Now you could say, like Liam, you
I
said
did say if I have to give the game ball to anyone, it's Kayshon Boutte. But yes,
it would be
or
Kayshon
to a
Boutte.
player, yeah.
Of
But I
course.
think
Yeah.
100%.
I think Josh McDaniels is the star of today.
Yeah, I mean they did great. Like my big thing with this, and like my big takeaway from this game, is there were no turnover worthy plays. Everybody held on to the ball.
The snap.
There were no, well,
Yeah.
that one was different. Like obviously the timing was off, but just like actual like decisions being made.
Yeah,
There were no like Drake May throwing the ball into coverage. There was no Ramondre Stevenson maybe fumbling, none of that. So, my like big takeaway from this game is that the offense is moving in the right direction. I don't have much else to say. Defense played well. They played well enough. Obviously, they kind of got gashed here and there, but listen, they did enough to win. And I think I told you guys this in the group chat where it's like, Liam, you and I have been saying this for years, where you don't have these elite defenses anymore who are, solid every single week and they give up 150 yards overall every week. That doesn't exist. Like you'll have some letdown games, which is kind of what this was. But in this case, you hope the offense comes up and kind of, picks up the slack. And that's what happened. So yeah, my takeaway is just the team's moving in the right direction. Al, any real big takeaways or anything else or things you wanted to bring up? We'll talk about the officiating in a second before we get out of it, but kind of just overall takeaways from the game. Anything you wanted to bring up?
I brought it up before I had to step away for a sec, but the running game, I just need to see a little bit more from.
Yeah.
I think you're getting so much from Drake May and the receivers, which is great. You're ahead in that department. Like you're light years ahead of where we thought they were going to be with the passing attack. And I think they showed it today on the broadcast. I think this year they're like tied for 7th in the league in passing offense, which is great. But you're also 27th in rushing. So teams are going to figure it out. It's like, okay, stack the box because if they run, they're not going to get anything. And then, just keep a spy on Drake May. So I think that's the big thing for me is that Drake May is so good now that you need to make sure the talent around him is as sound as he's playing, which he's elevating his receivers, but the running backs, you need a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head though, where it's like, Drake May is improving. Like Drake May is doing everything you need him to do, which is crazy. Like, every game you're kind of like, what's going to happen, whatever. And he keeps excelling. But yeah, like we thought that this team was going to be really good on the ground, Will Campbell, great run blocker. You have a really improved offensive line. Garrett Bradbury, a much better run blocker than pass blocker. Again, Garrett Bradbury, like I can't say enough good things about him. Like from what we thought he was going to be.
Like, he is dude. One bad snap, but other than that, played really, really well.
Bro, listen, man, I'll take it. If you're gonna give me a bad snap once every like 4 weeks, I will take that. If you're gonna play good to great pass blocking or run blocking and everything. But no, I definitely agree though, Al. They need to get the run game going. We'll talk about it with the Titans game. The Titans are, I think, like 5th worst in the league against the run. They're bottom half in the league against the pass, but against the run, like if you could get that run game going, that'd be great. But yeah, you definitely need something out of it. But I am happy that nobody fumbled. Like it is what it is. I know like game flow, whatever, you would hope they would have ran it a little bit more, but I don't know. You came out of it with a win. Hopefully the run game kind of evolves throughout the season.
The
But yeah,
Saints are also the worst passing defense. So pass the ball.
Right.
the, and
Like
Drake
if
May
the
threw
Saints
for
were the
three
worst run
touchdowns.
defense and we got this result, I'd be pissed. But they're the worst passing defense. That's why late in the game when we need to seal it, we're throwing the ball. Incomplete to Booty or to Douglas, I don't care. Because then we complete it to Booty. Like I'm not worried about that.
Have you guys noticed that on third downs, Drake May will quickly look at Steph Diggs and he hits him on third down? Like Steph Diggs has slowly become like his guy. And
Yeah.
it's great to see. I mean, he only had what, three catches, I think, for like 30 yards, 28 yards or
Yeah,
something,
28.
but they
Something
were
like that.
three important catches for the most part. Steph Diggs, by the way, what he got everybody, he threw like a party for the offensive linemen, brought his own personal chef out to cook for them.
No
Like,
shit.
like this fucking guy, man. Like
Terrible
locker room
leader.
cancer, though.
Yeah, he's
Horrible. Yeah.
terrible. Yeah,
Awful.
you don't
Awful.
want this
Horrible.
guy on your team. Yeah.
Giving coke to everybody. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
maybe he should give more. Maybe he should give
Yeah,
more because of whatever he's
100%.
doing.
I gotta get myself some pink cocaine for the gym.
Yeah, I'm happy with him. But yeah, I think like the main takeaway or like another thing from this game, the officiating. In like every week you have a fan base or fan bases who, harp on the officiating. You miss this big call, you miss this or whatever. I think this might have been the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life. Like, and it's really not even just against the Patriots. There were some bad calls against the Saints, but predominantly like on that second Pop Douglas touchdown, where he kind of launched it, where Drake May launched it downfield, Pop made a guy miss again, ran in. They called Stephon Diggs for offensive pass interference on that. But if you watch the all 22 play, which someone posted it, I retweeted it on Twitter because I was like, people need to fucking see this. You don't see a flag like the entire time. The ref that's standing right next to Stephon Diggs, because apparently Diggs extended his arms too much, which he did that because the defender was doing it too. So if anything, it should have been offsetting calls or anything. But like it was very weird. Like the Patriots were already celebrating. Drake May said post game, he was like, I was already on the bench. And then like they said that there was a flag. So we had to go back out there. Patriots ended up scoring on that drive anyway. So fuck you.
Of course they did.
But yeah, and then obviously there's just so many ticky tack calls. How'd you guys feel about the officiating? Or I guess just talk about the officiating before we leave this game, because it was horrible. If the Patriots would have lost, you bet your ass I'd be blaming the officiating. But just overall, how'd you guys feel about that?
Well, you asked me to start this episode out, Mike, with the trap game, with me feeling with the trap game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I feel like any sort of worry? That was one of the reasons why. The officiating, until the Christian Ellis forced fumble, everything, and I mean everything in that second half was going the way the Saints wanted it to go. They were getting all the calls, all the non-calls. There was one time where I think it was third down, and Drake May tried to hit Pop Douglas up the sideline, and Pop literally got popped by one of the Saints like corners, no call. Mac Hollins gets his like shoulder pad ripped, no call.
The
Like
play
late in
after
the
the
game?
Stephon Diggs Paul.
that was later in the game, yeah.
That Mac Hollins play, Al, was right after the Stephon Diggs offensive pass interference.
Mm-hmm. Literally
Like,
right
or
after.
like his second offensive pass interference, which wasn't like crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's where the officiating needs to take control of the game. And that's where it's like, okay, guys, we can't like something's up here. We're calling it every single time against the Patriots. Like you're telling me the Saints aren't doing anything. And thank God for Mike Vrabel, because if he doesn't challenge that fumble, who knows how that game ends up. So again, I would like to do without this referee crew for the rest of the year, and preferably my life. But I can't be that greedy. But
Two really good challenges by Vrabel, by the way, on that fumble, which I didn't think he fumbled. I did think his knee was down. Great fumble great challenge by Vrabel. Got the Patriots the ball back. Granted, they went 3-and-out the next drive, if I remember correctly. But still, you stopped the Saints. You ended up punting it back to him. And then also a challenge on that Keyshawn Booty pass down the sideline, where he said that he got tackled inbounds, which then made the clock go down to the 2-minute warning, which essentially iced the game for the Patriots. Good game by Stretch and Vrabel there. But yeah, dude, the just so many calls where like I'm sitting there jumping up and down on that Pop Douglas touchdown, the second one, where I'm like, there we go, we fucking won, blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, like, wait, there's a call against the commentators were even like, I think it's against the Saints. No, it's against the Patriots. And then they had Gene Steratore come on. He was like, I really don't see it. So like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how you officiate or like how you get it out of the league. Al, you said something where it's like, you take them out of the game or you that like some sort of like suspension thing. Maybe you fine them after the games for bad calls, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you take the human error out of it. But the Patriots overcame the refs and they overcame the Saints and they won the game. Defense did what they had to do. Liam, takeaways from the game. I don't think there's much more to really harp on with this game before we get to the
No,
Titans.
pretty cut and dry, pretty sweet dub.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm fucking jazzed up. It's the Saints. Like, let's call a spade a spade. They're 1-5 for a reason. But they're a scrappy, fun team, and like the
Mhm.
Patriots still went in there into their turf. New Orleans is probably a tough place to play.
Mhm.
Took care of business. I got no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a perfect game, but I like there's no such thing as a perfect game. Coming out of this game, I feel like if you're a Patriots fan, you just have to understand the Patriots took care of business.
Yep.
Like that Bills win is so big, and I can't harp on that enough. Where what that win does, that essentially gives you a spare loss at some point in this schedule because no one thought you were going to beat the Bills, but now you have two divisional wins. You're going against a very winnable game against the Titans, which we'll talk about in a second. Then you get the Browns and the Bengals with no Joe Burrow, then the Giants. Like, I don't want to say they're going to rattle off like 6 wins, but I'm also going to say they might rattle off 6 wins. So, yeah, just a great game. You can nitpick it all you want. We'll save that for later on in the week. But right now, you're coming off a potential trap game, like you said, Al, which it was, regardless if you thought they were going to fall into the trap or not. This is the definition of a trap game, a scrappy team. They just had their first big win against the Giants, so they're feeling good. The Saints did. So, you went in there, you handled business. You played a relatively clean game. Proud of them. Vrabel said it in the locker room. I don't know if you guys have seen the locker room video,
No.
whether it's you guys or the people listening. Vrabel basically came in. He said, listen, there's never going to be a time where I'm going to tell you not to celebrate wins. He's like, we're going to celebrate every fucking win. Like,
Yeah, right.
he said, we have a big game next week, but I'm going to tell you guys, like, he's basically telling them, like, take a few hours, celebrate this fucking win. Like,
Yeah.
it is a big win. And then he's like, game balls, everybody gets a fucking game ball.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like this is why I'm happy Vrabel's here. He gets it. Now, I don't know how Ben Johnson would have been in this situation, that little nerd, but like Mike Vrabel, I'm happy he's here. Like, he seems to get it and the team seems to get it too. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I hope you guys get it, where it's like, it seems like the team just understands where they are with everything. Like, no win is too big, but like, you got to win because you have all this pressure, but it's not really pressure because like you've been so bad. But yeah, the team has been great. Great win. You're 4-2. If the season ended today, I'm going to say it, the Patriots are in the playoffs. So, hopefully we can just keep that up. Anything else, any other like minute things you guys wanted to touch on with the Saints game before we talk about the Titans?
Get out of New Orleans and come back for a little bit and then get ready to go to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it. Basically, big, big, big revenge game for Mike Vrabel here. You're in Tennessee. The Titans are 1-5. I didn't check before I got on here. They did lose to the Raiders, right? The Titans.
I will. Yeah, they were down.
They were down by like 3 scores.
They were down 17-0 last time I checked, but just looking at the scores now, they made it. They didn't really make it competitive. It was 20-10. They lost 20-10, so they outscored the Raiders 10-3 after that. It's not.
So you're going to Tennessee. Obviously, if you're a Patriots fan, Mike Vrabel coached the Titans. You're in Tennessee again, which is fine. I think this team loves road games. Take care of business before you come back home. Listen, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Patriots win this game. I don't think it's close. I think it's not as close as the Saints game because I do think the Saints are a little bit better, a little bit more frisky than the Titans. I think Cam Ward throws a pick. I don't see a path for the Titans to win. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I know they have Tony Pollard, and I know he's good, but the Patriots' rush defense has overall been pretty good. I'm picking the Patriots to win by 2 scores. Try to talk me out of it, but how do you guys feel about this game?
Oh, I'm not going to talk you out of it. I'm going to talk you into it more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
Titans, just to give you a little bit of background on who they're facing this week, they ranked 31st in points for, 26th in points against, 26th in total yards given up. I mean, last in the NFL in third down conversions offensively, 28th in rushing yards per game. I mean, this is a woeful team. Now, it's weird because they have and if you remember this from, I think it was last year, because the Patriots played the Titans last year, their pass defense is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not horrible.
But the rush defense is horrible. But right now, with the way Patriots are running the ball, I mean, who knows? So in theory, yes, the Patriots should win this game by at least 2 scores, and I think they will win by 2 scores. I do. I think Tennessee is worse than New Orleans. I think they're in a worse position.
Yep.
I think Cam Ward, Liam, I know that's your boy, but I think he's struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he doesn't really have the weapons around him. I mean, he's got old
Cam Ward isn't struggling. The team sucks.
Cam Ward struggling. Calvin Ridley is old as can be. Tyler
Mm-hmm.
Lockett's old as can be. They have the tight end Okonkwo that's okay. Tony Pollard's older. They have an older team with a young quarterback. It's kind of a weird mix. Like, I know veterans, but like these are older veterans. So I don't know. If the Patriots were to lose this game, this would be the game that I'm like, wow, they really lost this one. Like, this is the one
Yes.
they had to lose. So
This to me, the Titans are almost too bad for this to be a trap game, if that makes sense. Like, I just don't see it. And Liam, I'm going to throw it to you in a second, but just I know Cam Ward might end up being a good quarterback, but
He
just like
will.
you said, Al, with this team, they're not ready. They're going to have to rebuild next year. They're going to have to get like an actual receiver. Maybe Tony Pollard stays for a little bit, but just they're going to have to keep building. I just don't see a path. Liam, do you think there's a path for the Titans to win, or who are you
No,
picking? Okay, thank you.
I'm obviously picking the Patriots, but let's set the record straight. Cam Ward's awesome. Like he's an
He's
incredible
okay.
quarterback. His team is completely and totally inept. Like this team is failure at a level that would make Mac Jones blush. Like this is
Ooh.
an unbelievably inept football team and organization from top to bottom. They're absolutely terrible. They employ football tactics without any strategy. They're just completely useless. There's an old Sun Tzu quote that I love. It's strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat, and that's
You're
what the
bringing out
Titans
fucking
are.
Sun Tzu
Yeah,
quotes.
yeah, I know.
the Titans. Every time they take the field, it's just noise before defeat. Like they're just it's like when you're talking to somebody who sucks and when what they're saying, it might as well be an exhale to you. Like you're not even listening to them and you're like, God, you just blow. And that's what the Titans are, and that's how every football team feels when they take the field against them. They're terrible. But none of this is any reflection on Cam Ward. He is incredible. He's doing the utmost with the very least.
Cam Ward, 52% completion percentage, 880 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, sacked 19 times. And that was before today's game, which he added
Yeah.
a touchdown and a pick. And I think he threw for maybe 200 yards. So, I mean, let's call it 1,100. 1,100 in 6 games. You're not even throwing 200 yards a game.
Name me three Titans receivers that isn't Calvin Ridley.
Let's see here. Is Spears a receiver or no?
No, he's a running
No,
back.
he's running back.
He's a running
Yeah,
back.
I got
I mean,
nobody.
Yep.
I was gonna
And
say.
he was out until last week.
Here,
Yep.
I'm gonna cheat and just because I
No,
want to
don't
say.
cheat.
Well, no, I
No,
want to say no.
no, no, I'll tell you. You don't have to. I'll tell
All
you
right, then
who
tell
they
me. Go
are.
ahead. Oh well, Tyler
Okay.
Lockett we forgot about.
Yep.
I mentioned Tyler Lockett earlier when I was doing my preview.
That's
so that
two right
counts.
there.
Well, you didn't remember him there, but their receiving core is completely terrible. So they have Alec Iomanner, who's actually playing pretty all
AJ
right.
Brown was a receiver.
Was there?
At one
Yes,
point.
at one point. Yeah.
Van Jefferson
Sucks.
Oh,
Yep.
and
former
old.
Rams great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they have another rookie too. DK. He's not good at all.
All right. So
They're terrible. But overall their
you know what
offensive
Cam
line
Ward
sucks.
is?
Like they're
Ward
terrible.
is Drake May on the Patriots last year, I feel like.
Yeah,
Fine.
or
not as good,
Peyton
because I do think that Drake May
Peyton
is
Manning in
leaps
his
and
first
bounds.
year.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I mean, Drake May, by the way, heading into this game, second highest completion percentage in the league. No big deal. Just second year quarterback showing.
And I'll
up.
be saying that about Cam Ward next year. He's an incredible quarterback.
Sure, I hope so. And
I hope you
can. They're going to be a plucky team next year, while the Patriots are in a battle for first place in the AFC.
Whatever his name is, I think it's Brian Callahan. I know it's Callahan as their coach.
Brian,
he is just useless. Oh my God.
Yeah. So so we're all picking the Patriots to win.
Basically. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a path for the Titans to win. The Patriots this would have to be one of those.
Don't see a path for the Titans to win.
This would have to be one of those quintessential, like the Patriots beat themselves type game, which I don't think they're going to do. I think Vrabel's going to have them ready to go.
They would have to fumble on every single possession, which they've only done once this season against the Steelers. So I guess it is possible.
Which that Steelers game is going to come back to fucking haunt them, man.
Yeah,
not in terms
Aaron
of like
Rodgers
them not
good
making
today,
the playoffs.
Too. Let the record show.
I don't.
Aaron Rodgers
no. We don't need to.
Yard.
Any record.
I think the Raiders game looks worse than the Steelers game. The Raiders are 2-4, and the only reason they're 2-4 is they beat the Titans today.
The only reason I give the Raiders game a break is because it was week 1. Yeah. That's why. Week 1, I always give a little bit more leeway because teams don't really know what the fuck they have. So, but like looking back on it though, I guess record wise, team wise, that loss does hurt. But you know what loss would hurt even more? A Titans loss here. Hopefully you don't go in, take care of business. I think this is like a comfortable 27-13 win or something like that. I think if you want a Tuck Rule takes bet, I think we just take the Patriots in points, whatever their over is in points.
Yeah, no, we do the same thing. So we do Patriots first half money line, Patriots, whatever the spread is, just fucking take it.
Yep, just Patriots all in all. I think you got to do it because I don't think the Saints are that good. Now, let me ask you guys before we talk about Belichick real quick. If the Titans do beat the Patriots, what does that do for you? Like, what does that change? For me, I would just be very, very upset. I don't know if it would necessarily change my overall thoughts on, the projection of this team, but I'd be more annoyed about it. It'd be more difficult because now you have to, win, some certain games here and there. But how would you feel if the Patriots lose to the Titans?
Obviously demoralized. But you still keep it in perspective. It's like, okay, you're coming off a 3-week road trip. You won 2 of those games, including the one at Buffalo, which was the big one. Then you have to regroup at home and be like, all right, so now we have to beat Cleveland. We have to beat Atlanta to get to 6-3 before the Bucs game in week 10. So that's where my mind's at is like, if you lose this game, you make it a little bit more difficult on you, especially with a Cleveland team that I'm going to say this right now. It wouldn't surprise me if Shedeur Sanders was the starter when they play the Patriots in a couple of weeks. Would not surprise me.
I hope he is.
With the way Dylan Gabriel's playing, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Dude, Shedeur Sanders blows.
Dude,
so does Dylan Gabriel. They're all their quarterbacks blow. That's the point, Liam.
Do you know who's going to be the starter? Good old fucking Deshaun Watson is going to come out of the grave and somehow start. So.
Actually, that would be terrible for the Patriots. I think
the Browns are so bad, like that. So that's the thing. Like looking forward, guys. Like this is why Al, when I texted the group and I was like, "Get ready for the playoffs, boys," and you were like, "Let's take it 1 week at a time." We're definitely going to take it 1 week at a time, especially this team that's won 4 games every year the last 3 years.
Right.
But you look at their schedule. You have a winnable game against the Titans. A very winnable game against the Browns. Then you have the Bengals, if I remember correctly, right? It goes, I think it goes what? Yeah. Pull it up. Or let me know when you have it.
So it's Titans, obviously, this week.
Okay.
Then at home against Cleveland, at home against Atlanta.
Yep. Oh,
at Tampa Bay. at Tampa Bay, home against the Jets for Thursday Night Football, and then at Cincinnati, and then
So,
and then home against the Giants.
so honestly, the only two games there you might lose are the Bucks, and honestly, I'm going to say the Giants, just because they're a scrappy little team. They're kind of like the Saints in that way. But you should lose like only one game in these next like 5 games here. You might go into the bye week with like 8 or 9 wins. Like that's crazy, especially coming out of the bye week when you have Miami, the Jets, the Bills, and the Ravens. That's 2 wins right there with Miami and the Jets. You don't know where the Bills are going to be. You also don't know where the Ravens are going to be. This is why you need to win these games, which is why if you hear anybody shit on this win against the Saints, punch them in the face, because this is a game you needed to win. I don't care about style points. Mark Bertrand's running around on 98.5 saying you need style points in this win. Fuck you. Win the game. And that's what the Patriots did. So yeah, I think they should go undefeated until the Bucks game. And then we'll see where they're at that point. Baker Mayfield is plucky. I like Baker Mayfield. I love Emeka Ibuka. I think we all like him. We'll see where they are health wise. I don't know if Bucky Irving's going to be back at that point, but we'll see where we're at that point. But you should win against the Titans. You really should. You should be 5-2. And Patriots fans, when you're listening to this, you're probably going to know the outcome of this game. You should be pulling for the Falcons next or tomorrow, because if the Falcons beat the Bills, you are in first place in the AFC East.
That's wild.
Listen to what I just said. The New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel, first-year head coach, Drake May, second-year quarterback, only started 18 games. You are going to be first place in the driver's seat, essentially controlling your own destiny in week 6. That
we're
is
all Falcons fans
or week 7. Yeah, we are all Falcons, which is fine because I like Michael Penix. So let's go. I
down like there. Michael Vick.
Hopefully for the Bills, you know what, Al? This might be a trap game for the Bills. They might be looking past the Falcons.
No. Because they lost last week to the Patriots.
They're upset.
Pissed. They're pissed. They're gonna. It's a get right game for them. I hope they lose again. That would be cool.
I hope so too, dude. Could you imagine if they lose and the Patriots are first place in the fucking AFC East?
No.
Oh my God! Listen. The rebuild is, we hit fast forward on the rebuild. Patriots are 4-2. They beat the Saints. You're going to the Titans game, which they should win. You should be 5-2 going home against Cleveland. Let me ask you guys before we talk about Bill Belichick. When does Cardi B be the lighthouse captain? What game? Does she do it in the playoffs? Does she do it against the Bills?
I think she does it against the Falcons. I got a weird feeling in a couple of weeks we're going to see Cardi B. Just a weird feeling.
I want it. Against the Falcons, Atlanta, that makes sense. Atlanta, hip-hop, Cardi B.
See, I'm in. There you go.
I'm in. Give me. I want all the Cardi B. I want the Patriots to get to the playoffs so we can have like a Taylor Swift Chiefs-esque Cardi B with Robert Kraft, because he wants Cardi B up in his box with him. You know what I mean? So yeah, you heard it. So we'll see. Big game though. Got to take care of business against the Titans, and then you're 5-2, and then who knows what happens after that. But Liam, we did want to talk to you real quick before we got out of here about just a certain guy, Bill Belichick, the first, the third, the second. I don't know what he is.
Went to Tabor Academy, if you did not know.
Have Liam, I'm asking you, have you paid attention to Bill Belichick's kind of recent few weeks at the University of North Carolina, which, by the way, our Lord and Savior Drake May went to? I just feel like we need to call you down to the carpet and talk to you about this, because Bill Belichick, realistically, like not even joking here, he has put on an embarrassment of the last like 3 or 4 months. Now, I'm not going to say his legacy is tarnished, because it's not. What Bill Belichick did with the Patriots, I think we're all in agreement. Like if you had to pick who between him and Brady, we probably lean a little bit Belichick, but regardless of where you lean, Belichick, huge part of the Patriots dynasty, greatest coach of all time. But I think, and Liam, I want to know your thoughts, worst college coach of all time, perhaps? Maybe? No,
No,
you don't think so?
no, that's Bobby Petrino.
What are your okay? What so just kind of like open dialogue, man. We just got to talk about it. What do you think's going on with Belichick? With all the rumors coming out, Mike Lombardi getting involved, players being hurt, sent home, fines, people getting fired. It just kind of like make a case for Belichick here.
Well, I guess I'd have to ask what's the problem? Because if it's the fact that he's losing games, what are they? 2-3, right?
Yeah, not great. The
Yeah,
Patriots are 4-2, by the way. Yep.
they're 2-3. They're losing to good teams and beating bad teams. So yeah, the product on the field doesn't look great. They got smoked by a Clemson team that I think Cade Klubnik sucks, and I don't think that, they're not the Clemson of old. They're gonna get smoked by teams like, LSU and stuff like that. It was actually a really close game between them and LSU. That was a bad example. But when they play Richmond, they win 41-6. When they play U- University of Charlotte, they won 20-3. Should they have won by more? Probably, because Charlotte's probably not going to win a goddamn game this year. But they still won, and sizably at that. Held them without a touchdown. I don't think the talent's good. This is a basketball school. Drake May, cool. That was a nice change of pace. They have had a handful of good NFL players over their time. Highest of all, Julius Peppers. Lowest of all, most of them. They're just not a very good school at producing NFL quality talent. They got super lucky getting Drake May and Omarion Hampton. And it seems like a lot of people think that, well, they got these two guys who are top picks in the draft recently. Like, that's a pretty good school. They're not. They're pretty shitty. And everyone's talking about how worst start in school history. It's not. This UNC is not a good school. And starting 2-3 is not a big deal to freak out.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Liam, and this is going to dictate how this conversation is going to go. Because I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be, and I'm going to hate you with every ounce of my being for it. Do you think, since he arrived at North Carolina, do you think Bill Belichick has done anything wrong in terms of the way he's gone about things, the way that he's run his program? Do you think he's done anything wrong?
Do I think that people are infinitely flawed and that people make mistakes throughout every day
You're
relatively frequently? Yes. I'm sure there were some moments he's walking out to the parking lot and dropped his keys. Like, I'm sure there are a ton of things that he's done wrong. Yeah. People do them every fucking day.
you're no, see, you're trying to dance around the question.
I'm
The
not.
way, no, you are
I'm
because
telling you, yeah, he probably made some poor decisions because he's making a lot of decisions.
okay, so Mike, I'll give him credit. That's something I didn't expect from him. That's a start. I'll take that. I like that. Here's my thing. Okay, fine. I'll ask you another question real quick before I get into
Please.
my points. Do you think that he makes it through this season? And before you answer, if he gets through this season, is he the coach for UNC in 2026?
Well, that would just be my opinion of people nowadays, which is marginal and slim. I tend to take the Hunter S. Thompson approach, where I'm very, very cynical to people nowadays. So, no, I don't think he is because I think people are fucking ridiculous. I have this incredible quote by Hunter S. Thompson that I love. If I can do another quote
Yeah,
here,
anyway, that's fine.
human beings are the only creatures that claim a god and the only living thing that behaves like they don't have one. I think human beings are fucking ridiculous and super flawed and really fucking stupid, me included. But everyone looking at this losing their mind like it's the worst college start ever. It's not. A lot of great coaches have started poorly in college. I'll use the Jim Harbaugh example. They didn't have a winning record. They actually didn't win shit until his third season when Richard Sherman made an incredible game-winning catch as a wide receiver against UNC. And then, boom, the whole franchise turned around after that incredible moment of them beating a dynasty that was on the decline anyway. It wasn't even that great of a win. USC wasn't that good anymore. But That's a great coach who's won at every level, who sucked for this team, and they gave him three years to turn it around. They gave him 2 years of shit, and they kept with him. So I think they bow out too early. People make opinions too early. They can watch an hour movie and figure out what the whole movie's about in the first 25 minutes when they won't sit through the whole damn thing. So then they'll turn it off 25 minutes in, watch a 17-minute YouTube video of it, and then go, yeah, I know what happens. Or they'll go and read a summary of the whole plot and they'll tell you what happens when they watched almost none of the movie. I think people are infinitely ridiculous and it gets worse and worse as things go on. And I know I sound like Mike's age saying, oh, people these
Fuck
days,
you.
like people these days are just so terrible. But I see it with sports because that's the microcosm that has founded my view of life. I look at almost everything in life from sports because that's kind of how I got my outlook on the world. And I think football is an incredible game to do so. But I think people have gotten so shorthanded. And I think it's just detrimental to everything. There have been many coaches before Bill Belichick who have got fired too early for just doing what they could with the hands they were dealt. And coaches are the first scapegoat. It's a brutal job. Everyone just gets cycled around and fired and cycled around and fired. I don't know jack about hockey, but I'm quite confident that's what happened to the Bruins
It
last
does.
coach.
It does.
Yeah.
It
It
does.
seems
Yep.
like the dude was a pretty good coach. We had
Mhm.
like the greatest season ever, won the President's Cup, and then because we lost a playoff game, which was bad, now he's
Mhm.
gone. And now he's the coach for the Blues. I'm sure he'll be fine. But like if
100%
you
agree,
have
by the way. As someone who
yeah,
like vehemently watches hockey, 100% agree with that.
very
Yeah.
casual observer, but if you have that much success and they still can you like what more can you do here? So in Belichick's circumstance, he's working with a shit hand. Like it's not a great team. He's got a left-handed quarterback, which doesn't mean anything because Mike Vick was a left-handed quarterback, and he's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. But like the talent's just not very good. And they're losing to UCF, who has been a dynasty for 20 years and no one gives a fuck because they're never going to play in the national championship. So I do think Bill Belichick's going to get fired because it's all people are talking about. And none of what people talking about is what's on the field. Yeah, the product's ugly. Yeah, they're getting smoked by Clemson when they probably should have been more competitive than that. But everyone's so focused on Bill Belichick's personal life, which has absolutely nothing to do with football. And yes, should she be on the sidelines? No, definitely not. Do I think he's it's uncharacteristic of him to let her get away with stuff like that, but he's also a dude trying to find love at the end of his life. And
So,
do I blame
okay.
him for it? No.
Okay, so you think he's not going to be there next year? Okay, fine. We're all in agreement on that. Let me ask this: do you think if he came back next year that he should change things about the way that he runs a football program? The reason that I ask that is because the NIL money is a big deal. Obviously, with college coaches, developing relationships with players in certain states and high schools is a big deal. Do you think Belichick, now that he's kind of seen it firsthand, that he should and would change anything about the way that he goes about running a college football team?
I think there'll be some stuff that if he stays, which he probably won't, that he'd learn and implement. But I think the vast majority of it, no. I think changing your strategy uh, in the middle of anything is weak. Like, lean into your strengths. He probably came into here with a I've won Super Bowls type approach and management, and I'm going to run this like a very, very tight militant operation. And if he were to give up on that, or any strategy that he implements that he thinks makes him a strong coach, then I think that's admitting failure. I think it's a weak move. So no, I don't think he should change anything.
Okay, so Mike, can you help me out here a little bit? So I think that's the big difference, and I think that's the problem. The problem is that yes, Bill Belichick at the pro level, if he took like just for as an example, a defensive coordinator position for the 49ers, he could have his personnel, he could coach them like men and do whatever. Now, you mentioned something in our group chat that I wanted to bring up here. You said something, and I'm paraphrasing here.
I feel like
So
I'm on the stand right now. That's incredible. I actually really like this. You should have been a lawyer.
It's fun, right?
You're in the
It's
wrong.
like a fun
You're.
thing. Yeah.
I'm sure you're a fine teacher, Al. You would have been a
thank you.
better lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. That actually is nice of you. I appreciate that.
It's not a compliment. You left a lot of money on the table.
I know that's true. Do it for the kids. Anyways,
What a guy.
actually,
Unlike Belichick.
Unlike Belichick. No, but here's the
Well,
thing. You mentioned in the group chat, you're like, with relationships with kids, like, don't baby the kids. And again, I'm paraphrasing that, and I know I am. I agree with you on that. Don't baby the kids. But you do have to make an effort to actually want to get to know these kids and to understand where their background is and what motivates them and helps them succeed. Because there were even reports that like Bill Belichick, Steve Belichick, Mike Lombardi, none of them have any of the kids' phone numbers. Which, all right, fine if you want to be old school, but you think about it, a lot of these college coaches, they're constantly on the phone, on the computer, messaging players, getting info on players that they can. That's how they build the relationship. And you mentioned in our group chat Pete Carroll too, right? So Pete Carroll obviously was in the NFL with the Patriots. It was a failure. And he even said in the 30 for 30 with the USC documentary, he's like, I had to change some things and I had to adapt to college. So Pete Carroll comes in. Yeah, he doesn't have success right away, but the principles he was building and the foundation he was building, everyone at USC could see that. That's why he had a long leash. And that's where the multiple national championships came into play. Nick Saban, somebody that started obviously in college. He had a very successful college career, goes to the Miami Dolphins, shits the bed in Miami, comes back to college, wins multiple national championships between LSU, Alabama, etc. Now, a lot of people compare Nick Saban to Bill Belichick. Belichick is to Saban, and Saban is to Belichick. Saban even understood that you have to put your players in the best position to succeed, even at the college level. And Belichick, or sorry, not Belichick, Saban even, I don't want to say took a shot at Belichick, but he basically said to Bill, like, yeah, Mac Jones, like, I'm happy for Mac Jones because, he's put around, the right situation and everything. That's getting off of college, but that was just, to go into my saving point. But anyways, I know I'm getting off track. My whole thing is this with Belichick. You're in a different game. You're not in the pros anymore. Mike Lombardi came out and said that he wants North Carolina to be the 33rd NFL team. All right, cool. You can do that while also taking into account some of these factors with colleges. Colleges with the NIL money, multiple reports from multiple avenues, and big time names too. Like Diana Rossini had something on it, I believe. Even said that in like deals with kids, they were doing what Belichick did with the Patriots, incentive-laden deals for much cheaper money, thinking what you said, Liam, oh, it's the Belichick name and everything. And then they go off and play for these other schools. And some of them not even like the big time schools. Some of them are just like comparable schools, not even like the Ohio States and everything. They're just going to different schools. So my whole thing is if you don't want to change what you do, don't go to college where you're going to have to make the change. Stay in the NFL, go back to the NFL. Maybe for a year, you're a defensive coordinator somewhere, and then you get that last head coaching opportunity, do it for however long, and then you ride off into the sunset. Because I don't think college is the place for Belichick. I don't. I think that with the other coaches, they can make adjustments and have made adjustments. And you even said it. You don't think Belichick should make those adjustments, which is fine, which is fine. But then he's just going to be stuck in this cycle. And by the way, the talent that you were talking about earlier, 70 new players this year, he brought them in. So what does that say about him and the coaches that are recruiting these kids?
Saying that the kids that they probably really wanted went to Ohio State. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to recruiting.
Which that could be the case. And just to kind of look at it.
Hold on. Let me address the rest of Al's point here.
Please do. Because I want to know.
I like Belichick's approach. Why would he change anything? Like, so Pete Carroll changed at USC because he was coaching in Hollywood. So yeah, I got to start letting Snoop Dogg come down to the sidelines. Yes, I have to start behaving differently because I'm coaching in Tinseltown. Nick Saban goes to Alabama. Who here knows who the head coach was of Alabama before Nick Saban?
You're talking way back when? I'm asking.
Right before.
No idea.
Mike Shula, and he sucked. And what his shtick was that his teams didn't have discipline. They were very run and gun, John David Booty, stuff like that. They weren't very disciplined. Nick Saban came in there and showed discipline. Bill Belichick wants to run this team like a pro team. That's his shtick. That's his style. He's going to do that. You don't prepare the road for the child. You prepare the child for the road. And don't treat them any differently than you would. Why are you laughing? But
Dude,
like,
because you are coming out with quotes from fucking Sun Tzu, from fucking other you just you are
Hunter S. Thompson,
this is why you are here. I love it.
but like, that's the exact point. Like, you want to prepare the child for the road. If these people want to go to the pros, I will fucking show you how the pros run. And like, you like to think that it'll become the Patriot thing at some point, where after culture has been established, talent will just naturally flow to your team because they want to play for the best. And those are the kind of guys you want. Randy Moss obviously got traded there, but he wanted to play for the best. We got Reggie Wayne on his last legs for a preseason because he wanted to see how the Patriots run their organization. And I could name many, many players other than that who came to the Patriots because they wanted to win. So I don't think he should change. I think this is his shtick, and he should absolutely stick with it.
So if he sticks with it in this day and age, he's going to get fired every year if he keeps doing the same thing, doesn't produce results.
Because people aren't going to give him a long enough leash to create that culture where you would see those results.
Well, yes, because he's
Nick Saban
73
said
years
it
old.
himself. But that's fine. He can coach for 2, 3 more years. You just have to give it some time to at least lay a foundation. I think Nick Saban also said that in my first season at Alabama, we lost to Louisiana Monroe. Like, that team sucks. And then this year they beat them 73-0. Like, he not every head coach is going to come in and cultures automatically change right off the bat. In fact, that rarely ever happens. I'm not sure on the history of USC football, but I would imagine there was a transition period when Pete Carroll got there. Maybe not. Maybe their recruiting class was just so good and everyone wanted to play in LA. That could be the case. But I don't think college kid or high school kids are sitting back dreaming about living in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. No, I don't think that ever crosses their mind. But if I was a pro athlete, I'd be like, yep, I want to go to Los Angeles to play sports.
So you are 100% right. High school players aren't sitting there saying they want to go play Chapel Hill or whatever. So this kind of goes to the point where Belichick needs to change how he coaches. The way he coaches does not work in college football anymore. I get what you're saying, where it's like, you need to
How
give
do you know
someone
it doesn't
time
work?
because it's clearly not. And also,
It's
it's not just the
5 games.
on-field thing. No, and I get that. It's not just the 2-4 record or whatever. I'm talking more about the off-the-field stuff. He is not running a college program like you're supposed to. He's not in contact with the parents. He's shunning some of the kids. He's giving favorable
Why should he be in
parking
contact with the
spots to people
parents?
because you still have to because you are in college. This is not an NFL
No,
job. No, you
they are
do though.
adults. Fuck
No,
that.
they're not
It
yet.
is
So
not his job to do
also my
that.
thing, and I know you said that you have to, and I agree with you on this. You have to give coaches a couple of years to build a program, but you can't quite do that in college now, where players are spending 1 or 2 years in college and then going to the NFL.
And
Like
to
you,
that point, just real quick, to that point, Mike, Liam, have you ever heard of Bill McCartney? Do you know who Bill McCartney is?
is he
The
Paul's brother?
Red Scare guy?
No. So Bill McCartney
I'm
was
scared.
the national champion
Yeah, the
coach
guy
at
who hates communists.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Bill McCartney.
Almost.
Bill McCartney was the national championship coach at the University of Colorado back in the 90s.
Oh
And
yeah,
and what he did was he would literally sit in all the kitchens with all the kids and then talk to the parents and then convince the parents, hey, Colorado is the school to send your son to. Now, I'm not saying Belichick has to do every single kid like that, but I think if Belichick or even Steve Belichick or Mike Lombardi want these big time kids eventually to come to the school, you're going to have to make the effort to go out and speak with parents because parents are involved with getting the kids to the point where, hey, they're going off to college and they're going to be playing Division I football. So you got to convince because it's like, hey, if I'm not getting an athletic scholarship, if I'm not going full ride to North Carolina or Alabama or Ohio State, BC, wherever, if I'm going to be paying out of pocket, I want to know where my money's going to be going to because I'm paying for the education. That's where Belichick can come in and be like, hey, you're playing for someone that won 6 Super Bowls, 8 Super Bowls, if you include the 2 with the Giants as a D coordinator. I'm going to run the program like this and then sell the parents So they're more than likely going to want to send their kids to that school. If he chooses to not have contact with the parents, and then when the kids get there, he chooses to not have contact with the kids and treat them all like little professionals and just like money makers for him, it's not going to end up well. It's just not going to end up well. It's a different time and a different game. I'm sorry, Liam, but it's a different time. You have to cater to the kids, not coddle them, but you have to actually like show that you give a shit about them. Because if you don't, they're going to go to a place where they feel like, hey, I'm actually like important in this program, even if they're the fourth string like long snapper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go with this.
He's
What?
clapping. What?
Kudos, Al. Incredibly nuanced take. You must have thought over that for nights on end. Your sleep must be terrible.
Yeah,
Just
I got to
coming
sleep
up
around
with that
4.
refreshingly original take. Oh my God, that was just profound, incredible. But little money makers, no, that's not how he thinks. And I don't
No,
know
it
what radio
is.
show you heard that
No,
from,
it
but
is.
that is not how anyone thinks. He's not a villain in an 800-foot tower looking over the UNC facility like,
Ah,
oh,
damn. I
look at
thought it
all
was
the
Disney
money they're
Channel.
making.
Damn.
Yeah, he's not fucking doing that. He doesn't think like that. And I think it is a stark assumption to say he had no part in the recruiting process. I'm sure he talked to students and parents before the process, but once those kids get to college, fuck the parents. You're an adult. I'm not here to talk to your fucking dad. If you want to be a pro, come play football with me. I don't want to hear from Kawhi Leonard's uncle because you know what Kawhi Leonard's uncle is? Annoying and might be a criminal after we all this stuff has come out about the Clippers. So I don't care about your family. You are the athlete. You are over 18, a legal adult. Are you smart enough to be a true adult? No. But does that mean I have to talk to your fucking parents? No, absolutely not. Once you come to the school, fuck your family. Like you want to go pro. Let's see what it takes.
And I'm not talking when they get to the school. I'm talking about in the recruiting process. Because it
Okay,
sounds
I
like
would imagine he did plenty of talking. There's no way all these kids agreed to go to UNC without sharing a single word with Bill Belichick, or at least, I don't know what
And guess
the
what?
lesser degree would be.
He picked 40 of the wrong kids, if that's the case then. Like this
I'm
is
sure
this
I'm sure he
is
was going after some really good players that didn't want to go to fucking
probably
UNC.
not. And this is kind of like just my like kind of 50,000 foot up view of it. Bill Belichick, to you, me, and Al, Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. He has the aura, he has all that shit. To these kids coming up, Bill Belichick isn't shit. For the last 4 years, he's been bad. This is the thing. So, like, this is not our opinion. This is not my opinion. This is not your opinion, Liam. This is not Al. This is not your opinion. This is to these kids coming up. Like they don't want to go to a coach with Belichick where you hear these things and people come in and like no one talks to him for 2 weeks because he's in his room. You got to talk to Mike Lombardi, regardless if you even believe all that is true. The main thing is Bill Belichick is not the figure that we know him to be in the NFL. Bill Belichick is the old curmudgeon guy who wants to come in and turn a college team into the 33rd NFL team, which sounds great, but that does not work because you have kids who do not want this to be the 33rd NFL team. You have
you know what
NIL
doesn't help
deals. You
that?
have players.
You know what
What?
doesn't help change that? The whole perception of Bill
For
Belichick.
sure, but
This
this is
isn't
how it
working. This
is.
isn't working. They're just so
I
terrible. He'll
get that.
never
And
be able to run a
I,
franchise.
yes,
5 games into a motherfucking season,
I a
and people are
hundred
saying he's
percent
terrible.
agree with you.
So the kids are like, "Oh my God, like he's just probably in there, throwing money at his girlfriend. Like, oh, we can't go in there and
No,
talk to him.
no,
Like,
I don't even
it's
think they
fucking
think that.
preposterous."
What I think they think is you came in here, you are just not a good coach. So we do not want to be here to play for you. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
dude, you could be overqualified. You could be the best, whatever. But when you come to do this job, you're just not good at it. And Belichick is not a good college football coach.
You
The
can't
the
say
way
he's not a
you
good
can
college
because
football coach. The
do you
season's
know
not
why you
over.
can? Because from what we've seen on the field, it's not good. Off the field, it's not good.
He's
Do you
not out
remember
there
where it's like
blocking and catching for him.
No, but he is the head
But
coach,
he's the
so he
one
should
putting the
be
players on the
coaching out.
field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He should be coaching out the mistakes. This is not a good team. And he's also what did he always say when he was on the Patriots? Ignore the noise. What do you do when the noise is your head coach? Like this is the thing. Now, I'm not saying
Bill
like
has no
maybe
control over that.
yes,
He
he
wants
does.
these people to
He is
shut
the
the
one.
fuck up.
He literally said that he is not going to let scouts from one NFL team come to his facility because I'm not welcome there. And also he also doesn't let every other scout look at certain parts of UNC's practice, which is
Which,
unheard of. He
which
is a
by the
petty
way,
Totally
man.
fine.
No,
by the
it's
way,
not.
he is still allowed.
They can
He's
go
still
to the
allowed to go to New
games.
England. He's still allowed to go to New England. He
He
literally
was
went for
at
the
New
Brady
England.
unveiling. He went to the
Yeah.
Brady statue unveiling. He is
Yeah.
not like Robert Kraft would not have security escort him out. Like
No.
that's
But
in
he
his
also,
head.
but it's not in his head because it's obviously you're not going to kick me out with security and get me arrested. But I don't want to go to a place that I'm not wanted either. And Robert Kraft obviously doesn't want him there.
He would
He
want
was already
Belichick there to
there though.
celebrate the
That's the
Brady
He
thing.
does
thing.
not want him there, dude. Let's not pretend that Robert Kraft is the golden beacon of truth
This is a
in
crazy
this
thing, anyways, because
circumstance.
why would Belichick even go? It's like a moot point. Like, why would he even show up? Like, it's such a
He
weird
should.
argument
He's
on his
the
end.
greatest head coach and did the most for us. He should
Maybe
he
he
should
should
never have
focus
to
on
buy a beer in
coaching.
Boston ever again. I
No,
agree
and he shouldn't.
completely.
You are 100% right. He like
Yeah.
again. I want you and anybody listening to understand that the Patriots Belichick is solidified for me. And like Al, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
for you too, but like he is one person. This UNC petty Bill
It's the same
Belichick,
fucking person.
you're right, except there's no checks and balances. He does not know how to run a college program. I think if he would have went to
You
an
can't
NFL
say
team,
these
he
definitive statements.
you can because you see it on the field and off the field, Liam. You're literally
No.
seeing it
You're
so far.
speaking you're speaking in
I can only
definites
speak
when
on what I
definites.
see.
Yeah, and they're losing to good teams and beating
And
bad
they're
ones.
not
You
playing
can't be
well in
that
those
But
critical.
games.
it's not that they're losing to good teams. It's the fact they're not even competitive or on the same field, and it's not even
Yeah, that's the
close.
thing.
If they were close, if they were like, losing by 10 points, 14 points, whatever, no one would be saying anything. If anything, they'd be saying that's improvement because they're competing with good teams. And by the way, Liam, I'm gonna read off, and I want you to be honest about this. I don't want you just being like win, 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 win. I'm gonna read off their opponents, and I want you to tell me if you think
I
they
have them in
actually.
front of me. You don't have to read them off.
Well, I'm gonna do it anyway for fun because you like to spoil my fun. I don't like you anymore when you do that. I like having fun. California. Do you think they're gonna beat California?
No.
Okay. 2-4. Is that what it is? 2-4? I just want to double check. Yeah, 2-4. Virginia.
I think they're actually kind of good this year.
They're number 18 in the country.
That's fucking wild because the Cavs suck. If they're 18, I imagine they'll beat UNC, but the Virginia Cavaliers are not a good organization.
But you still have them as a loss. Okay. Syracuse.
They should beat Syracuse. Syracuse pretty cheeks too.
All right. I can.
Should.
Stanford.
Ooh, I think Stanford's surprisingly competent, right? Again, Stanford a couple of years ago. That'd be a win. I think this is a loss.
All right, so we had flipped it. I thought Syracuse would be a loss. I thought they could beat Stanford. Stanford's like 2-4. They have a first-year head coach too.
Okay. Well, maybe
Wake
there's hope.
Wake Forest.
Oh, they should beat Wake Forest. Fucking basketball
Mm.
school.
They
No
are
one goes to Wake Forest. If you can name me 5 NFL players that went to Wake Forest, I will give you everything in my bank account right now.
Never.
Because there aren't 5 NFL players that
I
went
was
to
gonna
Wake
say,
Forest.
is it in the negatives anyway? Last time you told me.
Yeah.
Duke.
Ooh. Again, basketball school, they should. I honestly don't know the state of Duke football. My buddy was their starting tight end up until last year, and
Duke is
I
4 and
still
2,
didn't watch.
4-2, and 3-0 in the ACC right now.
Dude, the fact that you're taking a while to answer if they'll win or lose, I think is kind of an indictment on Bill Belichick.
So I think Duke, that'll be a tough one. It's a rivalry game. Duke will probably win.
Okay, and then at NC State.
NC State.
4-3 overall, 1-2 in the ACC.
I'll say they beat NC State.
Wow. So you have them going 5-8, I think.
Yeah. And if they do worse, that's fine because it's his first year.
Let
And
me
he's
ask
going to
you,
get
though.
canned probably regardless.
So should
Even
Urban, real quick, Mike,
yeah,
should
no, do
Urban
you think?
should Urban Meyer have gotten another year in Jacksonville?
Well, he kind of physically abused players like he did. He
That's a
did
little different.
Yes,
he
yes, the kicker
did
situation,
he
yes.
did kick the kicker, which ironic, hilarious, but if you're the kicker, it's probably less funny. And he apparently, which I don't know if it's true, it sounds like media horseshit, didn't know who Aaron Donald was. I find that hard to believe. But if that's the case, you're remarkably unprepared.
Get out of
It
here.
did it did seem like he was swinging on a lot of younger broads during that time
Mhm.
instead of actually coaching. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised. In that circumstance, Al, no, he probably shouldn't have got another job. But should Steve Wilkes, who was the head coach of the Cardinals when they were dog shit and got Josh Rosen, and then he had Josh Rosen for that year, and then they had the first overall pick next year, he gets canned and they get Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. Yeah, I think he probably should have got another shot because he had the first overall pick, which means you're inheriting a dog shit team. And then for your only season as a coach, you're coaching a dog shit team with a quarterback who just quarterback dog shit. And then you get canned. So in that circumstance, yeah, he probably shouldn't have been fired, Steve Wilkes, in that circumstance. So we can nitpick every coach who's ever been fired. And I'd say Urban Meyer deserves to. Most of them don't.
The thing with Belichick is that say they do go whatever, 5-8, whatever it happens to be. If you wanted to give him another year, how is he going to bring people to a losing organization, to a losing program? Like, that's the thing. That's why, especially like NFL is a little different because it's just a different sport entirely. But with college, it's like you've shown nothing that you can build a good program. There's going to be people leaving, transferring, whatever it happens to be. Like, I just don't see any way where he lasts the year or he goes into next year as the coach of UNC. That's the thing. And I think that he's done this to himself in large part. Again, there's been like whatever, just people kind of obviously throwing jabs at him or whatever, which is true. But I do think he has done this to himself. Everything from all the off-field stuff to just being the, like I said, the old curmudgeon-y guy that your college kids don't want to play for nowadays. In years past, of course, this would be Bill Belichick, the golden standard, the GOAT. You want to come play for him, you'll give him a couple years. That's not where we are anymore. So, like, unfortunately, whether
and through none of that fault is Belichick's.
None of the fault of maybe of
how everyone views him.
Yes, it is because he fizzled out so bad in New England. So you have to go back to his New England years, which again goes back to him being a petty little bitch with Robert Kraft, who, by the way, Robert Kraft just as petty, but Bill Belichick hiring Matt Patricia to run an offense, Joe Judge shunning Mac Jones and stunting his growth. Like, people see these things. Your actions have repercussions, and we're seeing those repercussions of your NFL years in your college football years. He has done this to himself in large part.
Yeah, the talent wasn't good though.
That might be true, but he didn't help that at all. That's the thing. And people see that. No, but he didn't, though. That's the case. He did not try.
Yeah,
he
brought in
his yes men.
Get better. Yeah, but
that's
Matt
what
Patricia,
he did.
In theory, should have been a good coach, and I still think Matt Patricia is a good coach.
Matt Patricia's doing great. He's he's the defensive coordinator for the number one team in the country.
Yeah, so like, how do you bring him into play?
Not for long because the U's going to become number one soon, but that's fine.
Okay, so at worst they're number three. At worst.
My whole thing on Bill Belichick, and I don't think we need to harp on it for long because there's going to be more to talk about, I'm sure. It's just he right now, currently, how everything is situated, he is not meant to be a college coach. Maybe he can still do all this stuff in the NFL. Say he got the Miami job, say he went to Atlanta before they hired whoever. Like maybe he would have been able to do this stuff there. You cannot do the things he's doing in college because those players will say, fuck you, because they are kids at the end of the day. This isn't their job. A lot of these kids, they may not ever wear the.
They're getting paid for it now.
Not
so
a lot of them, though. Well, okay, true.
Some
But
of
like
them,
they're
yes.
also going to school. A lot of these kids aren't going to wear the UNC jersey after this season. Like, you know what I mean? They're not all going to get drafted.
Well, this is
They're
a
not all going
meritocracy.
places.
If you're not getting paid for it yet, work hard enough until you get paid for it. 'Cause
No,
if
yeah,
you're
but
not, you're probably not very
that's
good.
just a saying. That's just a saying. That has
No,
nothing
but
to do with this.
That's
If
how
you
life
if
works.
you go to a team and your head coach is actively feuding with the NFL, you're not going to want to be on that team. And that is Belichick's fault. Like, I
think that's a
love Belichick.
generalization.
I think it is not. He does not like the NFL, and the NFL does not like him. And he's trying to treat this college team like an NFL team, and you cannot do that nowadays. And that is his fault.
You have no proof that you can't do that. You have absolutely no proof that you can't.
They're not doing well. You have coaches being fired for giving special treatment to players and families. You have him telling other scouts that they can't watch certain practices. Patriots scouts can't watch practices.
I don't want to see my practices either. Go to the fucking game and see.
That's not how
They're
college
banned from
football is
everything.
done.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have Mike Lombardi sending quotes to the boosters with like old general quotes and being like, "Oh, this team that we have isn't that good." Dude, you brought all these players in.
That's been
like
debunked.
This. Belichick. No, it has not. That is an actual letter that was sent out on a goddamn typewriter because Mike Lombardi is a useless piece of shit.
So this is
also a talented dude.
This is the final question I'm going to ask because I feel like we basically just went in circles. We got nowhere. Like there was no budging on either side, which again is fine. Like that's the beauty of this podcast. You can have discussion and freely say it. It's great. This is the last question I'm going to ask you, Liam, for this topic. So you're saying to put a bow tie on this, Bill Belichick is good as he is. He's in a good spot, and he shouldn't make any adjustments to anything he's doing. And I'm not talking his stuff with his girlfriend. His girlfriend stuff is his girlfriend stuff. That's not relevant. The football product right now. You don't think he should change anything? You think he should just continue to do what he's doing?
Well, I think the media has a very skewed opinion of him. So, yeah, he's not in a good spot because he's probably going to get fired just because of what everyone's opinion is. When I already had my talking points and my weapons, but just because I was curious and maybe I could get some more, I Googled defending Bill Belichick at USC. Couldn't find anything. I found the exact same argument over and over from every different perspective. None of them tried to defend the guy. There's no circumstance where anyone could defend anything that he did. And if everyone's going one way, I tend to think that's the wrong answer. So no, I don't think he's in a good spot. Do I think he should change things? Yeah, if you're 2-3 and need to win more games, yeah, maybe you should change something. But
okay, so what should he change? Give me one thing that he
schematics of football that are well beyond my comprehension. What's working? What's not working? Okay. What offenses are we seeing the most? Stuff like that. Coaching decisions that I'm sure he's making. Stuff that the X's and O's, that's what he should change. Nothing about how he runs the team. Nothing about how he should be talking these kids in at night and reading them a bedtime story about the 2004 Super Bowl. No, you shouldn't talk to any parents. Fuck the parents. You should worry about football.
You can't say that. Do you think he, to both of you guys, do you think he coaches again in the NFL?
No.
No.
But that's just, I think he should, but I think everyone sucks. Like people are just so condemning.
I think he
does. Yep, I think he does somewhere. Maybe the Dolphins.
How funny would it be if he got the Penn? I know it's still college, but how funny would it be if he got the Penn State job right now?
That'd be awesome.
He just said, "Peace out, UNC. I'm going to go down to Happy Valley and just turn Penn State around.
Then you guys would see how a college football program is run because
I
those are
still
pro
think he
athletes.
is a good schematically. I think he's a good coach. I think he is letting a lot of bullshit distract him right now.
He's a
That's what
good
I
coach.
think.
He is a good
Yes.
coach. He's not
Yes.
good at doing everything. Just let
Yep.
him coach. That's it.
Yep.
Let him coach.
Yep. Do you guys think that he comes to the NFL and hops on like a defensive coordinator position? I saw people saying that. I don't think so.
I don't think he comes back at all. I think everyone's spiteful.
No, dude, there's got to be a team. There has to be a team that's going to reach
There'll
out.
be some openings, especially
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
the
we'll
end of the
see. Maybe
season.
the Ravens. Imagine that.
No, the Ravens are gonna keep Harbaugh.
That'd be funny though. That'd be funny.
I'll tell you
No,
what.
I do
How
think
full circle Cleveland Browns come back to save the
I can
Browns
see
for a couple
Browns.
of
I can
years.
see Jets. The Jets could, ultimately reach out, be
He
like, "Hey, I know
hates
you
the
wanted to come
Jets.
here." Yeah,
I
but
don't
he
think
reached out to them though before he went to UNC.
No, did he?
Yeah,
So, supposedly no one knows for sure, but like that was the report that he did kind of reach out to, kind of throw a few feelers out there. I don't know. I do think he comes back to the NFL though. I think he does because I do think that he is still a good coach.
Hope so.
But I think
He's
he's
the
still a
greatest
great
coach.
coach. I think he just needs to not be in college.
He needs to
That's what
coddle
it
the
comes down to.
children. That's what he needs.
Oh my God. Okay. This was Tuck Rule. You guys have anything else you want to get to?
Shout out to these guys who are competing in fantasy football right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout him out, Al.
Not a good showing for
Shout
him.
him out,
Yeah,
Al.
Mike with a commanding 137.56 to Liam's 58.42.
Ooh.
That is almost an 80-point ass kicking.
This is like
Good math.
Liam, you like Bill Belichick so much. You're getting whipped just like Bill Belichick does. This is crazy. Damn.
Yeah, well, if your fantasy team only has 50 points at the end of a Sunday, something's gone astronomically
Someone
wrong.
got hurt. Someone's out.
Yeah,
Whatever.
which
it is.
did. Let the record show Mecca Ibuka did not return to the game, so that didn't help. That didn't
big.
help things there.
That's
Boy,
So
am I
big.
glad I did not trade for him.
really,
I
'cause
traded
he's-
him to you, Liam. I thought he was gonna fuck me this
No,
week.
you traded me Matthew Golden, but
Where did Buka go? Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
I drafted Ibuka in every league.
Yep.
And Al, I think you'd still take Emeka Ibuka. He has a touchdown in every single game except for the one that he left today with an injury. So
I mean, of course I'd take him, but it's got to be for the right deal.
Yeah, I'm not trading him. So
Al, I did see your thing. Al, you have hashtag Drake May MVP. Before we get out of here, does Drake May get MVP votes?
I think you should start getting considered.
you guys are high. I would love
The
to be
national
on.
media is
tell
even
you,
saying he
let
should
me
get some.
let me ask
There's
you
no
if he
shot.
continues to play how he is. I think he gets. I don't think he wins it by any means, but I think he gets a couple votes if he keeps going how he is. Top completion percentage, 260 plus yards every week, no picks. He threw 3 touchdowns this week. He'll be up there.
I love drugs too.
Okay. All right.
On that
This
note.
was Tuck Rule Takes. This was episode 202, coming off a Patriots win against the Saints. We will see you next week, hopefully, after a 4th win in a row. That's 4 wins, guys. That's Panthers, Bills,
So
Saints,
scary,
and Titans. That is 4 wins. Hopefully, we see you next week. The episode will be out either Monday, Tuesday, something like that, early on in the week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, anything you guys want to get off your chest before you get out of here?
Nada.
Nothing.
I didn't think so. So this was Tuck Rule Takes episode 202. We'll see you guys next week. Like I said, hopefully after a win. For Liam, Al, Mike, we are out of here. We'll see you next week. Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.